Welcome to the Introverted Doctor podcast, the podcast dedicated to uncovering myths, mistakes, and misconceptions that holds us back from living our best life at work, home, and play. In each episode, we focus on different aspects of a doctor's professional life, such as communication techniques, mindset, routines, habits, and behaviors, with the goal to show how to eliminate anxiety, trip-ups, and unwelcomed results that comes from ineffective communications. Now, as we start up the economy, so many of us, myself included, feel thankful for a few reasons. One is that we are trying to minimize the impact that closing down the economy is having on people's livelihoods. Another reason is that we can be with a greater variety of people live and in person. Even introverted people want to have more in-person interactions with other people. Now, these times have got me thinking and asking the question, why is it so hard to be alone? I don't remember solitude being such a struggle when I was growing up in the 1980s or 90s. I think I would have done better with some quiet time in that era as opposed to now. I remember easily 20 to 30 years ago when phones and the internet weren't at my fingertips, and never really feeling restless. Yet now, when I have more opportunities to have quiet time or stillness, it's harder to feel a sense of contentment. Now, don't get me wrong, phones and technology are great in many ways. It has helped us stay connected with loved ones, solved a lot of purchasing dilemmas, and got important information out to everyone. So why do people find it so hard to be alone? Would you feel uncomfortable if we continued with social isolation? I think there are a few things that are affecting our mood in these moments of social isolation. In our modern society, especially if you're a professional, we always feel there's a need to be busy. When you're busy, you're getting things done. The motto that gets ingrained into us is, a busy person is a productive person. Most of us get our sense of self-worth simply from being busy. We scold children or individuals who are not productive and praise the child or person who is an achiever. But is material achievement or goal achievement always a good thing? Is that how you get your sense of self-worth? Another thing is that we also have a greater expectation to have happier or exciting emotions, consciously or unconsciously. The message is that successful people are the ones who have more happy moments in their day and in their lives. I'm not saying that we should be looking for sad and depressive emotions, but it becomes harder to accept neutral emotions or stillness. We've become addicted to needing stimulating thoughts, entertaining nuggets, and infotainment. That's why social media and news consumption is so easy to get lost into. We've programmed ourselves to become addicted to emotions that have a spark to them. We associate neutral emotions such as stillness, the quietness that you feel when you're going for a walk, or even the space between doing or going from one task to another, as odd or wasted. We've become addicted to the adrenaline of high-impact emotions rather than the emotion of stillness. We can't even walk from the car to our house without checking our email. We can't even go upstairs to our bedroom without checking a Facebook or Twitter post, let alone whatever you do need to listen to or scrolling or tuning into when you have the bathroom door closed and you're sitting on your throne. Every moment of our awake mind needs to be assaulted with some form of something. I remember when I was 17, I had to do hard labor. I had to do a mind-numbing work that was repetitive and had no talent. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out how I was going to make it to lunchtime, let alone the whole week, sweeping the street of the small town that I lived in. Eventually, I did learn to enjoy the silence and stillness of being present and in the moment. While sweeping and doing that consistent labor, we need to get back to that state where we feel comfortable in doing nothing but being present and quiet, consuming silence, if you will. When we do that, we can get comfortable with being alone and with ourselves. Creative ideas, motivations, meaningful points, these things happen when we find the quiet spaces in our lives and we allow ourselves to spend time in that quiet space. We unknowingly have created our own shackles where the technology that was supposed to enhance our life has wired it up like a dozen turbo-jazzed cups of Java that keeps us buzzing and craving a stimulating emotion. So it's only by overcoming our own self-limitations and restrictions that we can regain and accept moments of stillness and be okay with not always having to do things and accomplish things. When we're watching TV, news, information, we're in the act of consuming and doing. So we think, and therefore we have the illusion that we are somewhat productive even if we had nothing to do with the creation of the content that we were consuming. I think people who are having the hardest time being alone or being still are the ones who either don't have a creative outlet or have a list of things to do. They've run out of the things that they need to do around the house. Now, does your sense of self-worth and sense of ease come from doing something or consuming something all the time or most of the time? How comfortable are you with being still and not being entertained or needing infotainment, consuming news, social media, etc.? If you've ever experienced the joy of working with nature, such as gardening, mowing the lawn, or cleaning your home, or other more creative endeavors, you know the joy of being connected with doing things that matter. More importantly, you can also learn that you don't always have to accomplish things to get a sense of self-worth. Some of the most grounded people have built such quality lives because they know the difference between what is just busyness and distraction and what is truly worth the focus of their time. Maybe we should all take a page from the introverts. Introverts are naturally attuned to being comfortable within themselves and restoring their inner peaceful state. The next time you pick up your phone, turn on Netflix, or scan through Facebook, Instagram, or the news, stop. Notice the quiet, still moment. Try it on for size. Breathe. Channel your own inner introvert. Nobody's 100% extroverted after all. Get comfortable with yourself and your own extraordinary imagination and the magic of being still and all the benefits that comes from being alone. I hope this podcast served you in some way, and if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please share this episode with a friend or colleague and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. And if you go to theintroverteddoctor.com and sign in there, you'll get my weekly emails about the podcast episode that's coming out in each week. I'm Dr. Lalit Chawla, and thank you so much for listening. Let's together make a greater, more effective community so that you can live with greater passion, harmony, and magic in your life and help others do the same. Have a fantastic weekend.